So I'm going to speak about Priyanka first. Widely known as the creative heart of design powerhouse AMPM, Priyanka Modi is a full-time designer, a mother. She's also an avid explorer, which shows it in her collection. At the time when Indian fashion had purely traditional or Western designs, Priyanka decided to marry the two, creating a refreshing and refined signature style. Indian modern was birthed, a more reflective style, language of the new age Indian woman. She always wanted women to feel effortless and elegant, but also en vogue and liberated. What started as a passion project has evolved into an 18-year-old luxury brand to reckon with, propelled by Priyanka's creative direction and complementing partnerships with her husband, Ankur. Today, AMPM takes pride in the place of wardrobes of thousands from across the world that intimately identified with the values of the brand and its refined sensibilities. To cater to such a vast audience, AMPM has rapidly grown into an omni-channel retailer with 12 exclusive stores across major Indian metros, a network of the major sought-out designer boutiques, regular trunk shows in 3 continents, and its own online catering to more than 190 countries worldwide. So I'm going to tell you about Pooja, who's going to moderate the show today. So Pooja Agarwal is a past chairperson and founder of Fiki Flow Ahmedabad chapter. She runs a multi-designers boutique called Panache, which has leading designers from India. She's a textile designer and an incoming president of Entrepreneurs Organization. Congratulations, Pooja. She partly runs an NGO called Abhisar, which works with children. Her work has won great recognition and has been covered by some leading dailies like Times of India, Femina, etc. And she was awarded Times of India Power Woman in 2018.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Babita. Hope you're all safe and well.
Yes.
In these tiring times when all of us are practicing social distancing, Fiki Flow Ahmedabad, in association with Panache, the multi-designer store, is trying to keep the morale of our members and friends high by bringing up the virtual events pan-India. Priyanka, very warm welcome and a virtual hug to you. And thank you so much for taking our time to be a part of our webinar. So I'll ask you, I would really love to know, how did you get into the fashion world? Like, was it something you always aspired to be a part of?
Firstly, thank you so much, Babita, for the warm welcome. And thank you, Pooja, for having me here. It's really a privilege, and thank you all the ladies in the audience for taking out time and coming to listen to this. So to answer your question, Pooja, yes, fashion was something that I think for me started in, the inception of it. And the, I wanted to do actually fashion from, sorry, just, am I?
You're audible, no problem. 1 second, how come you joined? No, you're audible.
People
So
are
actually,
no video.
There's no video.
People are saying, yeah.
Maybe.
नहीं, हमें तो हूँ और 20 लोग भी हैं, 20-50.
Can you see it now? We can see. They've written, they can see.
We can see now.
They can see, Priyanka.
okay.
They can see and completely hear clearly, they've written.
Okay. So to answer your question, Pooja, fashion for me actually started in my childhood years, in my head. But I hadn't realized it till much later in my life. So I was actually very, very influenced by my grandparents and my parents combined. And a special mention to my granddad, because right from when I I started observing that how my family used to dress. I used to, sort of focus on my granddad the most, because he was a complete Brit when it came to his style of dressing. And that much passion and obsession in clothes, I hadn't seen around me. So, right from his morning walk wear to, what he would wear to the office. And if any event had to take place in the evening, the house used to come down, because he used to involve every member of the family to get his look right for that evening. And he used to probably, always focus on who's traveling abroad at that time. And he used to get everybody to get his favorites from every brand that he shopped from. He was such a conscious dresser that I saw that for such a long period of my childhood. And I think for me, fashion started right there at home. Of course, my grandmom wearing her very classic South Indian saris, Banarsi saris. My mom being very immaculately dressed in her French chiffons. So I think fashion began at home right from the beginning. And then moving on to school, so in the later years of my school, I realized that I used to constantly be scribbling behind my notebooks instead of concentrating on my education. And I realized that, my interest in fashion had begun. And from there on, there was, no stopping. It was my first choice. And I then just went on with it, in terms of education, in terms of training under a French boutique. And that's where the journey really started. So I think the influence really came from home first, which I realized much later in my life.
Thank you so much. And Priyanka, having your partner in crime, Ankur, plus your mother-in-law, Anjuji, being in the same industry, do you land up having healthy discussions at home and like learning from each other?
So actually, the business started actually with just one tailor, and Ankur joined in very shortly, in about 8 months after its inception of the brand. And Ankur and me were actually perfect partners in terms of working together, because Ankur looked after the entire finance and production, and I concentrated on design. So, we each sort of headed our departments. And so it was perfect partnership, and it's gone on seamlessly for so many years. And after a few years, actually my brother also joined hands, and he started taking care of the branding, the marketing, and those aspects. And of course, I had a veteran of the industry sitting right at home with me. So it was fantastic. And of course, I used to get very conscious looking at her, because I thought that fashion would be fairly simple to do. But watching her passion and how meticulous she was, or she is still, how organized, how dedicated, how she would look into each detail of her clothing. I mean, it was truly inspiring. It used to happen very subtly, because I didn't have the opportunity to work with her for very long. It was just for a few months. But I was constantly inspired by just, observing her on a day-to-day basis. So it's actually been a wonderful journey having her in the background.
Okay. So there's no doubt that the fashion industry has felt the impact of the economic slowdown. And as a result of the ongoing global crisis, needless to say that the pain will trickle down from a shopaholic to the artisan at the grassroots level, as well as the designer. But I'm sure AMPM as a brand is trying to keep their chin up during these unprecedented times. The pertinent question is, how is your brand planning to overcome the financial challenges during these lockdown periods?
So I think when it first happened, Pooja, I think it was one of the most unforeseen, unprecedented unprecedented crisis that we've had in a really long time. And whilst the past 2 years haven't been easy for the industry either, with demonetization happening and then GST came in, but this sort of gravity was, just not expected. And of course, the industry right now is facing a lot of sensitive issues, like people losing their jobs, etc., people being laid off, and all of that is happening, and it's not happening in India alone. It's happening worldwide. Long with standing brands like Neiman Marcus, Gap, J. Crew, they're all filing for bankruptcy, and it's very, very demoralizing to see them have to go through that. But having said that, AMPM, of course, it's taking its own steps, how to sort of, clear our heads, limit what we produce, and keeping the organization more than afloat and trying to build a stronger future. So in the very recently, we had actually all the partners had gone through this course called Conscious Entrepreneurship, which was really, really fantastic. And at this moment, we are realizing, what that course has taught us. Because in a crisis like this, you can never be really, really prepared for it. But I think behind the scenes, what you can do is concentrate on the 5 pillars that actually build an organization. So what we learned was that if you take care of these 5 pillars, finance, founder, process, people, and sales, and you constantly nurture and strengthen them, then you are in a much better position when a crisis like this does occur. And of course, the one thing that we've learned, that it is better to keep your reserves before doing rapid growth. And I think that's because you have to constantly safeguard your people. They're the ones who make the organization or break the organization. So if you don't have their morals up, then it's very difficult to tide through times like this.
Very true, Priyanka. So fashion is a very labor-intensive industry. The artisans, the daily wage workers, and these kind of people are going back to the village, So how is the industry planning to survive this storm? And is there any government support that is given to the fashion industry right now?
So truthfully, the government is trying to contain the damage in the best manner possible. And whilst they've come out with these relief policies for the daily wage workers for the time being, but I think for the longer run, it is very important that the government supports the SMEs, because they have a huge contribution towards the economy and also employment. So for the longer run, your guess is as good as mine. We are all waiting for some fiscal benefits, that will be, that will come and help these industries and these medium-sized organizations, so that we can continue with what we were doing and continue to employ the people that we were employing. So the timeline for this, your guess is as good as mine, Pooja. And here we are waiting and watching.
I agree. I think all of us are waiting for the announcement, and it's supposed to be happening anytime, but we're still waiting. Yes. So also this year, retail, I think, would have skipped 2 seasons, the summer as well as the upcoming festive season. And not only that, because of the global crisis, the mood of the consumer is really going to shift. So do you think the fashion brands will be forced to reevaluate the entire way of thinking to engage with the customers?
Yeah, I think as soon as people digested the fact that this is really happening, because I think each of us has to, we've had to pinch ourselves that this is actually truly happening as we speak. I think the entire industry has very beautifully shifted the conversation with the consumer. And there is more talk of consciousness, conscious consumption and positivity more than trying to sell a product. So even recently, I mean, for all these 2 months put together, I think all that we've been doing in terms of engagement is been, we've been reminiscing some of the old shows, putting up throwbacks, remembering some old collections, which people have really appreciated in the past, talking about how to be mindful about their time, being productive in their days, talking about documentaries, books, travel, so the engagement and the conversation has been around this rather than, what are you wanting to buy? And where conscious consumption is concerned, I think this is a conversation that we are having internally at the organization level. And we are constantly trying to engage and educate the consumer as well to do that. Because if the consumer comes and partners with the organizations or with the retailers by actually being conscious about what they consume, then the manufacturer is going to have to produce less. They're going to have to probably just design better, design what is really required, what is essential, keeping the price, the quality, the timelessness of the product intact. And then the ripple effect will happen where the manufacturer will land up consuming less, buying less raw material, and then creating less inventory. And it will go down that road by not going into sales so rapidly, not producing so much inventory. Just produce less and consumers to buy less. If we can just do that much consciously, I think it will have huge effects on just the planet at large. So I think the entire conversation's been a very conscious one, and it's been very heartening to see the response of the consumers, because there's a lot more humane touch to how we are engaging with the consumer today than it was happening previously.
I think a lot of homegrown label, people are promoting that, plus minimalism, plus quality over quantity. I think a lot of these kind of, hashtags are happening all around social media.
Right.
So definitely, I agree with you. But with the economy slowdown, businesses have now placed paid partnership with many celebrities and endorsements by social media platform on hold. So like fashion shows, exhibitions, they're all going to be affected. So what marketing advice would you suggest to upcoming designers? Because their main platform with these, right?
So I think India is looking at quite if you, of course, what it's done to the economy, we are all sort of witnessing it on a daily basis. And I don't think we can change that or control it. But if we just have to look at a few key opportunities, I think there are quite a number of them. So smaller firms or bigger firms combined, I think how rapidly we've seen digital being such a strong suit to follow. Online is going to be one huge space where smaller or bigger designers, manufacturers, everybody can come onto these platforms to explore this better. I think fashion itself has been slightly slow on the uptake of taking the online space. And I think going forward, it is very important to practice your omni channels. You can't be just retailing out of standalone stores. You have to explore the potential that online has. And even now, people are going to want to shop from the safety of their homes, and it's going to be much more comforting if they can just shop with that convenience. So I think this is a platform that everybody is looking at and should be built as fast as possible. And where manufacturing is concerned, that's another opportunity with the equity loss of what's happened with China and all the manufacturing that was happening there. I think people are going to consciously probably try and partner with India at this time. So that's going to be probably to India's benefit. Having said that, there's this new hashtag or reform or social calling with handmade in India. So that is another beautiful space to imbibe both by the consumer and the manufacturer. If we can actually concentrate on homegrown textiles, on things that are done actually by Indian artisans and protect that, we'll also be able to protect their employment, and it'll have a very direct, effective effect on the economy. So I think there are still, I know the crisis is really huge and it's very demotivating, but I think there's a lot of opportunity which was unexplored, which can be beautifully explored now.
Hello.
Sorry, Pooja, I couldn't hear you. So I don't know if you said something.
Yeah, so I'm saying the exports have also been affected in the textile industry, as well as online sales also, from what I have spoken to a lot of people who have been online sales. So obviously clothes have not been an essential item. So
Right.
as of now, there's completely no online sales happening. And in future also, they are worried about online sales. So what do you think about that?
So if I just talk about women at large, I really don't think they can resist shopping for too long. Yes, the Indian consumer is very, very conscious and they can take a step back when required. They can sort of go into a restraint mode for some time, but all of us, I think it's a feel good factor when you shop for women. So I don't think it's going to stop. Yes, people are going to be definitely more conscious. Yes, people should look at brands that are consciously producing their product, which are more timeless and quality conscious. And yes, ethics over aesthetics should be, the new thought behind every consumer's, that should be the real thought behind their shopping. But I personally don't think that the online space is going to die down. I think it is going to be the one channel that will probably turn out to be most effective. Yes, right now deliveries aren't happening, so people don't want to put their money, and wonder when their deliveries will come. But more and more, I think people, even shoppers that who weren't used to being, who weren't shopping online, I think they're going to find their safety net there more than going to standalone stores or to malls or to crowded places to do their shopping. Reduction will happen. So whilst, the concept of revenge buying, which has been the new hashtag, and
Exactly. We
whilst
are all
it was,
hoping that happens.
yeah, and that's music to a retailer, because you want to somehow survive from all of this. But and that might have been true for China for some time, but I don't know whether that's going to take place in India. But the online space, I have a slight difference in opinion, because I think that is going to be the new tool by which I think people can look at some potential growth.
Okay. So tell me, a lot of us are working from the home right now. A lot of us are doing these Zoom calls. So any fashion rules you could tell us, which we should follow?
Fashion rules for home. That's slightly new, but I think what we are thoroughly enjoying, of course, working from home, and I think even though it's a bit of a bummer not being able to do what you love to do and what you're used to doing, but I think for EMPM and for my consumer, I think effortlessness is something that we've been imbibing in the label for a really long time. And I think that's what my consumer should do. They should just be in their most comfortable attire. It's already, we've hit summer, we are in May, and just breathable, beautiful fabrics, loungewear probably will take precedence over everything else. And even now, we are being able to just dress up a little every time we have a little Zoom call. And it's unbelievable that, you're dressing up and then you're just in front of a camera. But yeah, just lounge clothing, just what is comfortable. I think this is that one time that you don't have to prove anything to anybody, and just be comfortable in your skin and just wear what is most comforting.
Are we going to see any leisure wear from, lounge wear from AMPM, hopefully?
Yeah, we already do a portion of it. And going forward, we are working on an essentials line so that people don't have to consume too much, but they can restyle themselves repeatedly in just those timeless pieces. So that's a little project that we are working on, actively working on, and hopefully it'll hit the stores by October, November.
Great. So tell me, how do you spend your time in isolation,
I'm not really isolated. I have 6 people in the house. So actually, I'm loving it. I've never had this opportunity. It's been a decade. I've been a working mom for, I don't know, for as long as I can remember. Since 2002, I got into this. 2002, yeah, that's correct. 2002, 2003. And it's, you know, I've been working non-stop. My days are crazy. They're jam-packed. My to-do lists get longer every day.
How do you balance, how do you balance your kids and your home and work and everywhere? I just keep on hearing praise. Priyanka has done this, she's done this, and it's just, I don't know, how do you do it?
You know, I think we underestimate ourselves as women, and I think we have this art of multitasking. I think all of us are just intrinsically born with it. I think we've seen our parents, grandparents do it in their own ways, whether they were working or not. They could just manage the emotional angles and the financial angles and, you know, the home angles and entertaining and being the mother, the daughter, the perfect host. So I think all of us have done that. And yes, it's been a little crazy. And sometimes people ask me this question that, you know, how do I balance it? And there is no balance. It's complete imbalance. But I think somewhere you just, you start enjoying that. You know, you're more efficient with what you're doing. You're efficient at work and then you're efficient at home. So the hours that you're spending at home actually become more quality hours with your kids. And I think it just balances itself out. It's, you know, I think there's no perfect timetable for somebody to follow. It's just very personal. So I think all of us do that. I don't think it's just me. I think all of us put together doing that. And recently, keeping calm in this time and balancing it all has also been a lot to do with the mentorship that I've been getting over the past few years, if I may share that. I've actually now been able to get my emotional balance in place. I'm a lot more centered and I can focus on my things a lot more, better, even at a time of crisis like this. I think I'm thoroughly enjoying this. People ask me that, aren't you sick of the lockdown? And truthfully, I'm not. I've never had this time. 2 months of not having to follow a very hectic schedule. This has been, a blessing for me.
Priyanka, so you are absolutely on a positive note. I think even with all the unrest and everything happening all around you, what would you advise our viewers and, your fans basically to stay positive during the lockdown? How?
You know, there's this trick I've been following. If you just think of what is the worst thing that can happen, and when you think of the worst, the maximum is that you probably won't have that Jaguar standing outside and you won't have the Rohit bulbs in your wardrobe. And that's about it. And probably one less piece of jewelry and maybe that extra painting won't make it to the house walls. But what have we spent in the past 2 months? We've been most comforted. We have the security of our homes. We've got our kids. We've got everybody who's important sitting right next to us. This is a privilege. I don't think there has, and I see this around me, that there's been more gratitude felt at this time than I have seen at any other time. I think people are trying to get over their insecurities and just trying to deal with what is. So if you think of the worst, actually our situation doesn't look so bad. I think we are the privileged lot because we are actually in, we're getting our basics. We're getting our 3 square meals on our table. We're getting that very comforted room to sleep in. And what else do you need? Actually, you need very little for survival. So I think it is, most of the time, we're just running a rat race. It is that perfect time to declutter and sift through this roadmap and make a new one. I don't think you get opportunities like this constantly. So I think to my viewers, enjoy this time. It's probably not going to come back. And really, what is the worst that can happen? Probably organizations will shut down. We'll start a new one. So that's you know, that's what I can share what I'm truly feeling, that I think all of us
And I think, yes.
should look at it as an opportunity in some way or the other, and the gratitude will just follow.
I absolutely agree with you, because I feel this time is not going to come back. So we should completely utilize it to be happy and to do exactly what we want with a lot of
Yes.
gratitude. And that works.
Yes.
So we're going to be opening the question answer round.
Right.
And so kindly raise your hands, or you can type your questions in the box. And I would request you all to keep your questions short and crisp. So we already have a question from Preeti Mittal. So I'm just going to add her and ask her, or I'll, 1 second. So, okay. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's just taking a time. So I'm just going to ask only, Preeti Mittal has asked you, Priyanka, do you think the online shopping will be what people will start doing in the next 3 months? Because if we don't have social occasions to attend, then why would people be shopping? I'm a jewelry designer from Bangalore and concerned.
That's actually such a valid question, that with no gatherings that will happen for some time now, why will people want to shop? And I was speaking to this friend the other day who was most optimistic. And she said that even though I know that for a long time I might not be able to use what I'm shopping for, but I'm still loving collecting a few things for the future. So let's hope that there are more people like that. And where online is concerned, Preeti, I truly believe that women, like I said, cannot resist shopping for a really long time. They will come back. I think jewelry is one of the things that I think even if you're sitting on a Zoom call, I think we can try and flaunt that. So I think people are still going to shop. Social gatherings will happen. They will probably happen in smaller forms. They will be smaller groups. But I think people have not lost hope, and they will invest for the future, if not for the time being.
Thank you so much. We have Malika Dalmia asking a question. So Malika, can you ask your question, please? Malika, you can ask your question.
Yeah, hi. I love your collection, Priyanka, always. It's very nice.
Thank you so much, Malika.
Yeah, you had recently launched a new RTW brand. Apart from your AMPM, I think a more ready-to-wear collection. There was one store at Khan Market. I'm not remembering the name of the brand.
Right. It was called 12, Malika.
Okay. How did the consumer take to it?
Actually, it had picked up right from the day go. It was really loved because we were trying to cater to a younger clientele. And I think that was missing from our current clients.
Yes.
So the price point was way more reasonable, and it was a lot more younger and more fashion driven. So people had actually really loved the line.
So are you still continuing with the line?
Actually, we had put a halt to it, Malika, truth be spoken, because of course, a lot of internal reasons. And we thought that we were digressing from what we were doing with AMPM and shifting energies to the other label. So for the time being, it's been halted, and hopefully it'll bounce back when the time is right.
Okay. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
So there's an anonymous attendee. Her take on online shows in collaboration with various exhibitors. What percentage should one look at for mutual business benefits?
Sorry, Pooja, I didn't really get that.
So she's asking basically what percentage should one look at for mutual business benefits if you're in collaboration with various exhibitors? Online shows.
Online shows. So So I think for any collaboration, the important thing is to have a very win-win situation. So if that can be identified, what is going to be feasible for the retailer as well as the exhibitor, and a path be drawn where both are benefiting, then it's quite a no-brainer. But yes, revenue share is a model that I think will become stronger more and more going forward. It is something that we are looking at with our current stores, where we were just simply playing rentals. But now, as we go forward and, the lockdowns become very, very uncertain as to how long it'll last. So we are trying to collaborate with our stores and our store, retail owners, if they can come with a revenue share model, because they know that either they will lose business by not having us at the stores, or they can continue and we partner in this, and we tide through this time by partnering with each other. So I think the same thing, if it helps, will work for partnering with the exhibitors as well. And I really hope that answers your question in some way.
Thank you. Anuja Shah also has a question. Anuja, please ask your question, please. Anuja? Hello?
Yeah,
Okay,
hi
so-
Priyanka.
Hi, Anuja.
So what can you say for the small scale fashion industry? Like any suggestions you can give them how to sustain after the this lockdown and after this COVID-19?
So do you mean smaller businesses, Anuja?
No, the fashion industry.
The fashion industry, and what about that?
Yeah, I mean the small scale fashion designers.
Right.
Like yeah.
So I think, like all of us, Anuja, I would probably give the same advice to the smaller organizations as well. That right now, I think it is very important to just keep your head held high, keep your reserves, and try and tide through at least this year, and not look at expansion at the moment at least. And when things become better, then we can roll out all the plans that I think each organization visions for the year. They need to be put on hold so that we can be a little more judicious with our spends. So I think everybody just needs to be a little more careful and tread carefully with their next steps.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka.
Thank you.
So we have another question from, I'm just going to read it out, Prakriti Jain. Consumers will be uncomfortable to touch and feel the garments in retail stores. Anxious about who would have touched it before. What's your suggestion and take on such situation?
So that's a very interesting question, because we have been contemplating this at the back end. And when the stores do open, we are thinking of ways that how, if a garment has been tried once, then we send it back to the factory immediately. And it only comes back to the shelf once it's been thoroughly dry cleaned. So this was not something that we were doing earlier, but it is very important to care for the customer right now. And not only right now, there are so many services that we provide, but I think we are all looking at customer care rather than just simply customer service. So this is one thing that we plan to do. If a garment's been tried, it'll be just shipped back to the factory, and only after a detailed dry clean process will it come back to the shelves again.
Okay, so Kiran Sharma has a question. Kiran, please go ahead. Kiran? Okay, till then I'll put Aarti Maheshwari on. Okay, Kiran, are you there?
Yeah, hi Priyanka.
Yeah,
Hi, Kiran.
Nice talking to you. I do exhibition.
You.
I'm an exhibition organizer. So
Right.
what is the future of us this at this time? Should we look forward to it in 2021 or 22? Because we hold wedding and lifestyle exhibitions in Delhi and abroad.
Right. So, Kiran, I think all of us are in this sufferance kind of together, if that helps in any way. The stores are also going to be treaded on very, very carefully, and people's mindsets have completely changed. They're going to be very careful before entering a crowded space. And so the same thing is going to apply to exhibitions as well. Kiran, even we do exhibitions, we do trunk shows in other countries as well as India. But what we're going to have to do is, limit the gatherings. So I'm hoping in a month or two, when things start becoming better, people will hold exhibitions, but I think with very new norms. It's going to be by an invite only. It's going to be very limited people. That is a model that you can look at. Just have your most loyal customers come in, hold smaller gatherings, lesser extensive platforms, and be a lot more edited with the merchandise that you're giving out at that time, so that it is, constructive for you, a lesser inventory headache for you, and it is very appealing and essential for the consumer. The other very interesting dialogue that's been actually going around is having exhibitions online. So it's a very new concept. I think the person who can do this well will be quite a winner. So, where you can have stylists come online and show their garments online to your consumer. It's just like how we are having these forums. If you have a stylist on board, somebody who can showcase the product, people can ask their questions. They can, of course, visually see it. You'll have to build in the refund policies and cash on deliveries for this. It's a slightly more complicated process, but it is something worth considering. I think it's a very novel idea. And I don't know if you've not heard of it, then it is something to go on. If you can partner and collaborate with somebody digitally and get this model going, even in the smallest way, would be very beneficial.
That is a very good idea. But what about the wedding industry? How wedding industry take on online? It is going to be very difficult for weddings to depend high value items on online, because you don't know what you are seeing and what you are feeling.
Absolutely. So, Kiran, I completely agree. It's going to be not how it used to be. But having said that, the brides, whoever is going to get married in this time period, and I'm sure there are quite a few of them, they will still want that day to be special. I don't think it's generally a bride's dream to just have that one perfect outfit, at least for their wedding day. The gatherings, of course, will be smaller, and people will probably not invest so much in heavy clothing. But even the bride will still want to dress. If she's having an occasion, even which limits 50 people to be there, she is going to want her perfect outfit. And if she can be made to be felt safe by shopping online, then what we need to look at as retailers is that we make it as comfortable for them by retweaking our policies. Some of us have very detailed policies that, where we don't refund, where we don't exchange, when if customizations have happened, then we don't, mold and redirect ourselves too much from that. So if we can sort of be a little more flexible with our policies and really take care of a consumer, whether it's digitally or whether by shopping online, whether by customization, whatever is going to make the consumer feel safe, we need to bend a little backwards in this time to do that. And weddings will happen, Kiran, so let's not be disheartened. Let's hope that even if it's happening in smaller numbers and they're slightly limited in number in terms of attendees, they will happen, and the bride will want to dress.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
you, Kiran. And we have Aarti Maheshwari wanting to ask you a question. Aarti, please go ahead.
Hi.
Aarti.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Aarti. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I heard your story, and it was very inspiring for me that you started with one machine, one stitching machine. So I've just been ready with my new brand, diversifying from being a visual artist to a fashion, sustainable fashion line. So
Right.
it was due to start in the first week of April. And like now it is completely under the table, the complete idea. Now I'm fully ready, past a year, design my product, my first collection, photo shoot,
Right.
teaser. So how do I go about now, or should I start with an online?
So Aarti, if I may ask, how were you planning to promote this in the first place? Was it through a store or through a multi-designer store?
No, so it's a very small local thing that I do as an artist. So I have my own design studio past 20-25 years and have my clients over the period. But since now it is going to be local because of the lockdown and all. So I'm think I have this plan B now, since I cannot sit with the idea idle. I was planning to announce it online, since people spend a lot of time online, and then
Yes.
as lockdown is, and feed them the people have not related me with fashion, so now they will get onto that, and once they see certain things, they would, how do I go about it? That was my, like, I was confused, am I going right, or how do I go?
No, so I think you've already got a beautiful thought in the first place, Aarti. People who are starting now seem to be so much more conscious with, like you've got sustainability at the heart of it, which itself is fantastic. And I think that is all that people want to hear. They want to hear the ethics of the brand more than anything else. And that's, what the consumer wants to hear. And they're feeling a lot more, like we've spoken about conscious consumption. This is one of the things that people want to indulge in. A lot of the generation that is even after us, I think, is a lot more conscious about what they buy. So your story must come out. It must be told. It's already fabulous that you've got a collection ready. And Aarti, may I ask, do you have a Instagram handle?
So everything is ready. I just have to announce, or maybe I'm planning to do it like my prelude will start on the 12th of May, and 14th or 15th, I will release a teaser of the brand icon. It's a small iconic brand because I'm a visual artist. I've really worked hard to design my visual stationaries and everything, my presentation. So
excellent.
I will have all my social platforms ready by then.
Perfect. So I think you're already on the right path, Aarti, and I don't think that you should halt it for any longer. It will take people some time to start absorbing your brand. So people who don't know you will start viewing you, and it's the perfect time. Let them see what you've got, and they might not shop immediately, and let that not dishearten you either. Basically, you need to open up your showcase. People need to start seeing your voice come out there, and they will start engaging with your brand slowly. So I think it's what you've got already planned sounds pretty fantastic to me. And being a visual artist, you're going to be able to tell your story so beautifully, I'm assuming, because a lot of us, even though we are creative, we get stuck in that. But you seem to have designed your entire stationery, collaterals, packaging. It seems to be all ready. So you can start a little slowly, Aarti, but you must get out there. And online, yes, must be explored. Everybody is going to have a different opinion. We need to be a little more diverse with how a consumer can engage and shop with us. It's a platform you will anyway need, even in the future, even if it starts slowly. Online is not a space that happens magically either, Aarti. It takes a lot of R&D, a lot of understanding to see how the operations work. It just sounds very simple, but it's not that simple. We've not grown up being educated in this. So when we got into it at AMPM, it took us 2 years to establish this platform properly. So it is my request to all my viewers, whoever's wanting to expand their businesses, it is the right time. You will take 3 to 6 months before you can actually efficiently establish your platform. So you might as well start now. Keep a little money aside to just invest in this space. It will bear fruit sooner or later.
Thank you. I'm really encouraged. You've really encouraged me. Thank you so much, Priyanka.
And Aarti, if you want to connect with me on a separate note, I'll be most happy to do that.
Surely, I would love that. I'll take your number from Pooja ji.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Not at all. Not at all.
Thank you, Aarti. Now we have Ritu Jain has a question. Just a second. I'm sorry, guys. Just give me a minute. Ritu, you're online, please.
Okay, so I'm a consumer, a very avid consumer. I love AM/PM.
Thank you, Ritu.
But now since germophobia seems to be here to stay, what precautions can I expect from stores post lockdown once we open up? And of course, like you said, there'll be revenge buying. But what assurances can I expect from stores, like when I go there, and what precautions should I be taking? And will wearing masks and gloves become like a fashion accessory even in India?
So to answer your last question first, Ritu, yes, those accessories will be needed. And yes, they'll be perceived as accessories now. I think as soon as the lockdown sort of got announced, I saw this beautiful video of LV where they had come up with the most gorgeous mask. And truth be told, I was quite tempted. So yes, these are going to be our new fashion accessories. It's not as if we didn't have enough and more to select from.
Yeah,
but yes,
Priyanka, Off-White
yes.
has come up with a mask, and that's the most in demand. And
Which
people are
one?
lining up Off-White, and there is no stock. It's just gone crazy. It's gone viral, the Off-White mask.
My God. So there, Ritu, it's going to be, yes, the new fashion accessory. Yes, we need to take precautions ourselves, and we are currently, like I said before, working on very extensive SOPs, basically systems and operations, to how to be careful for a consumer at the store. There will be very clear instructions put up in the store. There will be very limited number of people allowed at a time. For the dry cleaning, I already told you, we are working on a very efficient system where the clothing can go back trial and only make it back to the shelf after. So yes, there are going to be a lot of precautions taken, and as a consumer, you should, and it is personally actually up to you in which brand that you think that will actually take the precautions. So I think we will land up going and indulging only on those where we know that the retailer is going to be conscious. And I think in the store experience also, you will realize that these precautions are being taken when you come to them, as in when you feel safe coming and buying from these stores.
Absolutely. I think old trust would make all the difference.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Ritu.
you.
And thank you, Priyanka. Pinky Godiawala has a question to us. Pinky, please go ahead. Pinky? Okay.
I think she's on mute, Pooja.
Yeah, no, I kind of did ask her, but Pinky's actually asked, what is the future and